It was Sunday, November 24th, 1971, just a few days before Thanksgiving. At Portland International Airport, Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 was preparing for takeoff. A Boeing 727 with 42 people on board, ready for a short 30-minute trip to Seattle. No one knew it yet, but that flight would soon turn into one of the greatest mysteries in American history. As the flight moved along smoothly, flight attendant Florence approached the man sitting in seat 18E at the very back of the plane. With a polite smile, he handed her a small, neatly folded note. At first, Florence assumed it was just another flirtatious message, something she had gotten used to in her job. She smiled, slipped the note into her bag without reading it, and continued working. But a few minutes later, as she passed by again, the man stopped her. In a calm, almost chilling voice, he said, "Miss, you might want to take a look at that note." "I have a bomb." Florence, trying to stay calm, hurried to her bag and opened the note. Written in all capital letters with a black felt-tip pen, it read, "Miss, I have a bomb in my briefcase. I want you to sit beside me." Her heart racing, Florence leaned down toward the man and, keeping her voice steady, asked to see the bomb. Without any hesitation and making sure no other passengers were watching, the man carefully opened his briefcase. Inside, she saw wires, red sticks that looked like dynamite, and a large battery. There was no doubt. This was real. The man, still calm and almost polite, began explaining exactly what he wanted. Speaking in a calm, low voice, the man, who we now know as Dan Cooper, laid out his demands to Florence: $200,000 in cash in $20 bills, 4 parachutes, 2 primary and 2 reserve, a fuel truck ready to refuel the plane upon landing. No tricks, no tracking devices, no passengers should be informed about the hijacking. Florence, doing her best to stay composed, asked for permission to inform the pilots. Cooper agreed, but insisted another flight attendant remain by his side while Florence delivered the message. Above them, the plane continued flying calmly, with most passengers still blissfully unaware of the situation unfolding on board. Florence carefully made her way to the cockpit, her heart racing. Once inside, she quietly explained the situation to the pilots. A man in seat 18E claimed to have a bomb and was demanding money, parachutes, and safe refueling upon landing. The pilots immediately radioed air traffic control to report the hijacking. Meanwhile, Cooper remained calm, almost eerily so, keeping a close eye on the flight crew, but never causing panic among the passengers. Instead of shouting or making threats, he treated the entire event like a business transaction, polite, firm, and strangely methodical. While the plane kept circling above Seattle to buy time, chaos erupted on the ground. Law enforcement, airline executives, and FBI agents worked frantically to meet Cooper's demands without putting anyone at risk. They arranged for $200,000 in used $20 bills, carefully recording each serial number. They also sourced 4 parachutes, including 2 reserves, just as Cooper had requested. Meanwhile, inside the plane, the passengers remained mostly unaware of the drama unfolding around them, thinking the delay was just routine. At around 5:45 p.m., the plane finally landed at Seattle-Tacoma Airport. The airport staff, under strict FBI supervision, delivered the $200,000 ransom and 4 parachutes directly to the flight attendants. Cooper, calm and collected, checked the goods through the window before allowing the next step. Once satisfied, he released the 36 passengers, along with 2 flight attendants, leaving behind only himself, the 2 pilots, and a single flight attendant inside the plane. Everything was going exactly according to his plan, or so it seemed. After releasing the passengers, Cooper laid out his next set of demands. The pilots were to fly south toward Mexico City, maintaining a low altitude of around 10,000 feet. The plane's landing gear had to stay down, the wing flaps partially extended, and, most unusual of all, the rear stairway had to remain lowered during flight. Cooper knew exactly what he was doing. His precise instructions showed a deep understanding of the Boeing 727, a plane uniquely designed with a rear stairway that could open mid-flight. It was clear he was planning something few had ever dared attempt. Around 8 p.m., somewhere over the thick forests of southwestern Washington, Cooper made his move. He opened the rear stairway and, carrying a bag stuffed with $200,000, jumped into the freezing rainy night. No one saw him jump. The escort planes trailing Flight 305 lost sight of him in the darkness and clouds. There were no radio calls, no signals, just the roar of the storm swallowing him whole. When the pilots landed the plane, Cooper was gone. All that remained were his black tie, a clip, a few cigarette butts, and a legend that would haunt American history for decades. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in U.S. history. They scoured forests, rivers, mountains, looking for any trace of D.B. Cooper. Helicopters swept the rugged terrain. Agents interviewed thousands of people, followed endless leads, and even recreated the jump several times. Yet no body was found, no parachute, no money, nothing. It was as if Cooper had simply vanished into thin air. For nearly a decade, there were no solid leads. Until 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging along the Columbia River with his family. While playing in the sand, he stumbled upon something incredible: 3 bundles of decayed $20 bills, still wrapped in rubber bands. The serial numbers matched the ransom money from the hijacking. It was the first physical evidence of D.B. Cooper's disappearance, but it only raised more questions. How did the money get there? Was Cooper alive when it was buried? Or had someone else found and hidden it? No one knew. Over the decades, countless theories about D.B. Cooper's fate flooded the media. Some believed he died that stormy night, that jumping in the dark into rough wilderness was a death sentence. Others thought he survived and started a new life, carefully hiding from authorities for decades. Some speculated he was a military paratrooper, or even an ex-CIA agent, given how expertly he planned the hijacking. Despite thousands of tips, dozens of suspects, and endless investigations, no one could prove anything. The mystery only grew bigger, turning D.B. Cooper into a true American legend. The FBI launched one of the longest and most expensive investigations in American history, codenamed NORJAC, short for Northwest Hijacking. They chased every lead, interviewed hundreds of suspects, and analyzed every tiny clue. But it was like chasing a ghost. No credible evidence ever surfaced, no confirmed sightings, no large cash purchases with the stolen money. By 2016, nearly 45 years after the hijacking, the FBI officially closed the case. The legend of D.B. Cooper was left unsolved, and the mystery alive forever. Over the decades, D.B. Cooper became more than just a man. He became a myth. Some believed he was a skilled paratrooper who escaped and lived a quiet life under a new identity. Others thought he died during the risky jump, his body swallowed by the vast wilderness. There were even wild theories that Cooper was a rogue CIA agent, that he faked his death and started over abroad, that he was someone nobody ever suspected. Books, movies, documentaries, and endless Reddit threads, everyone had a version of the D.B. Cooper story, but no one had proof. Not then, not now. In 2016, after 45 years of chasing shadows, the FBI officially closed the D.B. Cooper case. They admitted what many already suspected. Despite the biggest manhunt in history, Cooper had simply vanished. But the story didn't end there. In 2024, a small glimmer of hope reappeared. Scientists claimed that Cooper's tie, the one he left behind on the plane, might still hold traces of his DNA. Could this finally reveal his true identity? The FBI, however, refused to reopen the case. Officially, D.B. Cooper remained a ghost. Maybe he survived and laughed at the world's obsession. Maybe he perished that cold, stormy night. Or maybe, just maybe, the greatest mystery of American skies will stay unsolved forever. And so the legend of D.B. Cooper lives on. A man who rewrote the rules of crime, vanished without a trace, and left behind a story bigger than the truth itself. Decades have passed, new suspects appear, old theories resurface, but no one has ever truly solved the mystery. Maybe it's better this way. Some stories are meant to stay untold, because sometimes the greatest legends are the ones we never fully understand. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed unraveling this mystery with me, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more unbelievable true stories. See you in the next one.